Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I've had a bit of an issue with my car, my 240i. It's actually in for getting a washer jet fixed and something to do with the steering column. Not quite sure what it is, but luckily it's been covered on warranty. But in the meantime, they've given me this nice courtesy car. Now it's a BMW 118i. It's an M Sport model, I believe, and it's got a ton of features on it as well. So let me walk you through that. So the first thing I'd like to say is how smooth this car is to drive. Now, this car is built on the Mini platform, which is obviously... So as I was saying, this car is built on the Mini platform. It has a 1.5 litre engine, which is commonly known as the B38. Performance-wise, it does do a nice... well, sort of nice 135 brake horsepower, which to be fair isn't horrendous, but you know, if I was going to spec one of these cars for myself, I would probably go for the 2 litre if I wanted something sort of like basic and quite sort of frugal. But it's a very nippy car, to be fair. It's got a good little sound to it. It's a 3-cylinder, so it's always going to sound a bit more almost like a baby V6, I'd like to say. It doesn't, well, I say that, it purrs. So economy wise, this thing is currently doing 41 mpg. So this car has been used mainly as a courtesy car for people who've dropped their beamers off and then they've borrowed a car for the day. But I'd say 41 miles to the gallon isn't too bad, especially for this kind of engine. A lot of this will probably be town driving as well, so yeah, you've got to consider like you're going to use a bit more fuel in and around town. I'd say the one good thing as well whilst driving this is the equipment list on this. So we've got a big widescreen. Good thing is as well, it's got Apple CarPlay, which is what I love because Waze is the way to go. You know, Waze is the way to go. You don't need to worry too much about speed cameras, although in this kind of car you're not going to be you're not really going to be speeding because, to be fair, it takes 8.5 seconds to get from 0 to 60. But yeah, going back to the equipment list, it has got a ton of kit on it. I think the screen, I don't think the screen is standard. It might be, I could be wrong, but it is quite a large screen. It's also got this digital dash, which at first I was a bit skeptical. I knew I was going to get a newer BM, and I was a bit skeptical of the digital dash, but to be fair, it's very bright and clear. It's easy to read, and it shows the digital version of your speedo, which is a lot better than, say, what's in mine, where it's got sort of, I'd like to say digital analog. It's not quite full digital, but it's not quite full analog, so it's a bit in between. Yeah, this car is also sporting heated seats. It's got Harman Kardon, dual zone climate control, and all the little knobs and switches, and just even the steering wheel, for instance. The steering wheel feels a lot nicer than my 240i, which you'd think, you know, if a 240i wasn't cheap back in the day, and that steering wheel feels horrendous compared to this. It feels like the other one, the 240 feels like a pigskin. I don't know why, it's just not a nice steering wheel, but this is very nice. This car also has cruise control. Weirdly enough though, it's not adaptive, and I'm just like, we're in, what, 2023 now? This is a 2023 car. Adaptive cruise control should just be the standard, the norm when you're buying a car, especially in auto. Now I know BMW don't always spec cruise control from the factory. It's not a standard option, you have to spec it in. You'll probably get it for free on the highest models like 5 and 7 and 8, and then obviously the X cars. But yeah, like my 2 Series didn't get it, and 3 Series that my dad's had in the past has never had it either. But apart from that, the spec is very nice. Like I said, it is an auto, and the auto is fairly smooth for a car that's got a very low engine. It's not particularly a fast engine. One thing to note about the engines as well, like I said, this is the B38. It is a 1.5 with the number deviants. Obviously, I think deviant complaints as well. One thing to note, obviously when you're buying a 118 and you're looking at a 120, is I believe they're all 1.5s now. It used to be the thing where a 2 litre would be a 2 litre engine, but I don't think that's the case. But don't quote me on that one. I'll have a look into it. But actually, ignore me. The 2 litre is a 2 litre. It's the 3 litre that's actually a 2 litre. Another spec this car came with is a very, very nice blue colour. Now, I am a sucker for blue paint. I've owned about 2 or 3 blue cars in my time before I got onto black cars, and I miss having a blue car. Like, the colour just really pops, and I think that's one of the big selling points about this car. Practicality wise, it has got 5 seats. There is plenty of space in the boot, although if you have got about 20 million different children living across the country, then it probably isn't the car for you. But to be fair, even though it's a slightly bigger hatchback, I wouldn't say it's like tricky to drive. It's quite a nimble car, it's quite easy to park. Park down here as an example. But yeah, it's quite nippy. There is a sport mode, which ups. It's got a bit of a front to it. Ooh. But yeah, that heightens the steering, heightens the throttle response, and all around makes it a bit of a nice car to drive. That was a weird angle to pull my steering wheel. But yeah, put it in sport mode, it's got a very nice pickup on it. Jeez. But yeah, where was I? So yeah, with the practicality wise, it has got 5 seats. It has got a fairly decent sized boot as well. Enough to get plenty of suitcases in for a weekend away or a little trip away. You can also put down the back seats as well, which is an added feature. Well, it's not an added feature, it's usually the norm on these kind of cars. But yeah, I wouldn't have any complaints. There is, the A-Class might be slightly bigger, I'm not too sure. But I'd say all around it's a good amount of space. So I'd like to come to the elephant in the room, and that's the fact that this is not a rear-wheel drive car anymore. BMW have stepped away for their 1 Series and moved to front-wheel drive. Voice crack. They do make the X-Drive 135i. You can also get X-Drive on other models, I believe, as well. Maybe not the lower powered ones, but again, it's something maybe to check out. But they don't make them anymore, which is a shame, because obviously rear wheel drive is the thing that makes a BMW a BMW. But I think the best way to maybe think about this is it is just a nicer Mini with the BMW badge, and that appeals to people. I think the prices on these start from about 30 odd grand. You can pick them up used. I think this one actually is about 22, 23 grand, which, to be fair, for a car this age, is not too bad. It'll still have a warranty on it. You'll still get a used warranty if you buy approved used. And the finance rates on these brand new are actually pretty decent as well. So, I think I've seen some interest rates before around sort of 4 to 7% being the highest. Obviously it depends on how much deposit you put down, but it's not a big amount of money. And if you're getting it used and you can get a good bank rate, because bank rates are better than car and actual PCP and HP rates at the moment, you have got yourself a pretty solid car for the money. And to be fair, the B38s, from my experience with the B48 and the B58 that I have now and the 240, they are pretty reliable engines. There ain't too much to go wrong with them. There's probably the odd little thing here and there, maybe like a leak from a coolant cap, for instance, with mine, but I can't imagine there's a lot really to go wrong. Like I said, it is very cheap to run. The tax is only about 180 quid. It doesn't pass the threshold where you get charged an arm and a leg. It's pretty efficient, and with it being a lower spec model, or a lower model compared to like 3 Series, 4 Series, etc., it's going to be cheap to maintain as well. Obviously, you don't necessarily have to take it to a BMW specialist, BMW main dealer, but you could take it to a specialist and they'll still look after it. It's quite an easy car to work on. Would I recommend this car? the best way of describing this car, I would say, is I wouldn't maybe call it a full BMW. Now, a lot of people are going to say in the comments it's not a proper BMW, and I'll stand by that point. It isn't really, to be fair, but it is still a it's still going to be classed as a BMW. It is a Mini underneath, but I'd say this is more a flasher Mini. It's got the badge, it's got the appeal. Front wheel drive is the way to go for cheaper cars. It's the best way to keep the cost down, which is good for you, the consumer. Obviously, more petrol heads are going to be into rear wheel drive, but the target audience for this car isn't going to be someone who's maybe like myself, who loves a rear wheel drive car where the arse kicks out. It's more going to be somebody who's maybe got a family or wants a BMW or wants, you know, the cheap running costs and things like that. So the best way to describe this film, I'll probably say I like the car. It's a really good car. Like, even though it's only a little 118, still picks up. Give it that. So it is a still nice car. It's nicely built. Or there's refinement. Obviously, you're gonna get cheap plastics down there. But you know, that's what happens when you buy a cheaper, the lowest model of the brand. The best way to describe this car, if you've ever seen the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw movie, and I think some of you will do, it was a good movie, but I wouldn't class it as a Fast and Furious movie. And that was my thinking when I got into this car this morning, was it's a great car, but I wouldn't say it's a full-on BMW. It needs the rear-wheel drive, but I suppose you can get the X-Drive, but again that's front-wheel drive biased. So yeah, I hope you liked my verdict. Obviously, it was quite a quick video. I just wanted, with the limited time that I had, I just thought I'd do a short little video on should you buy it. And I think if you are looking for a car that's in this category, then yes, I think you should consider it. Maybe not go for a 118. It is quite a fun engine, but I'd probably go for the 2 litre just so you got that bit more poke. But yeah, so thanks for watching my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, comment, and certainly leave a subscribe. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy my content, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers.